Hi guys, we're gonna work on another chord progression, another 1-4-5 with major chords. This is gonna be D, G, A. I really wanna jump into those chords. Make sure that you know how to play those shapes already. Check out lessons 16 and 17 in Prodigy so you can learn major and minor shapes of open chords. And once you're familiar, let's get to this, okay? There's something that I wanna talk about theory-wise, but I'm gonna leave it for the end because I really want to start working on the technique of changing these three chords. Sorry. So we're gonna start with D major, going to G. As you can see, these two chords don't have any notes in common, any fretted notes in common. So we're gonna rely on the order of placement of our fingers. So this is D, and whenever we switch to G major, the first note that we're gonna go to is the 3rd fret on the 6th string with our middle finger. That's gonna be our target note, really important note. It gives us the position for everything else. So you know the drill, which is play a full strum in whole notes with D, and then a whole note for that note on the G chord. So 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3, and one more time. There are some things that are much easier to play than to explain. It's kind of fun. Anyway, one more time. 3 and 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3, and one more time. 2, 3, and 2, 3, and 2, 3, and. Then we're gonna add one more note on the G chord. That's gonna be this note, 2nd fret of the 5th string with our index finger, and we're gonna add it after this one. So we're gonna go like this: 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3, and 2, 3, and. Okay. Try that chord change so far until you feel really comfortable going from these to these two notes, and then we're gonna add the 3rd note on the G major chord. Sometimes I play with my ring finger, sometimes with my pinky. It's up to you, whatever feels comfortable. Let's see, I'm gonna just use my ring finger for example today. So this is D, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3, and ring. 2, 3, and. Last time, 3 and 2, 3 and 1, 2, 3 and 1, 2, 3 and 2, 3 and. Good. Once that you have that, try to practice with full strums. At first you can leave a bar in between the D strum and the G strum, so you have some time to move your fingers to the G chord. And you can start with a metronome in a really slow tempo and then go up. Let's try that. Starting on D, 3 and 1, 2, 3 and 1, 2, 3 and 2, 3 and. One more time. 3 and 1, 2, 3 and 1, 2, 3 and 2, 3 and. Good. Now the 3rd chord is A major. G and A don't have any fretted notes in common, so we're gonna do the same kind of exercise, same kind of dynamic going from G to A. Start on the G major chord, and then we're gonna place our first fretted note, the lowest one, on the A major chord, which is that, and that's our target note. That's the 2nd fret of the 4th string with our index finger. So let's practice that change from G to that note. 1, 2, 3, and 2, 3, and. One more time. 3 and 2, 3 and 2, 3 and. Then we can just add middle and ring. So this particular chord, ideally you want to just keep adding fingers like we did from D to G. For the A major chord, since these 3 notes are kind of like together, in a block, I like think of them as a unity, as just a one, almost like a one finger, if that makes any sense. But to me, kind of that. So what I try to do is that after I target that first note on the A major chord, I just add these two fingers in the consecutive strings, same fret. So I don't know if that works for you. If you want to try that finger by finger, that's cool. If not, try the whole thing, because it might help you to get that chord change a little bit faster. So try that. G, 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3, and the other two. But you can play them all together. One more time. 3, and 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3, and 2, 3, and one more time. 3 and 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3, and 2, 3, and good. Once that you have that, try full strums for the two chords, leaving a bar in between. 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3, and 2, 3, and practice that with a metronome. Start slow, go faster. Start with half notes, with whole notes, then go to half notes, quarter notes, until you master those two chords. And then we're gonna play the three chords together. Same thing. Start with a metronome, whole notes, and then go to half notes. You can leave a bar in between the three chords, and let's do that. Let's leave a bar in between, starting with D, 3, and 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3, and G, 2, 3, and one bar in between to make a change, and 2, 3, and keep practicing that until it becomes faster and faster and easier for you. Keep always in mind the target notes, super important concept. And make sure that you master these three chords together, because again, one chord progression that you master a week, and after like 3-4 months, after 6 months, after a month of playing this, you'll be able to play thousands of songs. The good thing about these chord progressions is that the first one tends to be the hardest one to learn, and then once that you get the dynamics of switching chords and you run into same chords and same chord changes, becomes easier and easier and easier, you know. So probably, I hope that this fifth chord progression that you learn went much faster, was much easier than the first one that you played. Now these 5 chord progressions, I put them together as a whole because they have to do with a very important concept, which is the cage system. Cage, C-A-G-E-D, are basically the most important chord shapes that we play in open position. They are all major chords: C, A, G, E, E, D. And what we did in these videos is to play a 1-4-5 over each of them. For example, for C we play C, F, G, etc., etc. Those 5 keys are really important in guitar, because those chords, you can repeat them in many places. You can just move them to different keys by using a capo, and you're gonna run into those combinations of chords in many songs. So it's pretty important that you master these 5 chord progressions with major chords, because it's gonna, you're gonna find it everywhere, and it's gonna really help you to move your fingers from chord to chord, since most of them don't have fingers in common. So it's a little bit more difficult for a beginner guitar player than what other chord progressions are. Anyway, I hope you enjoy this series of chord progressions. If there's any of them that is kind of blurry, kind of like harder to play, keep practicing it. It's totally worth it if you dedicate 1 week to master one chord progression, because then it stays with you forever. You can play it in thousands of songs. Okay, so feel free to contact us at rockprodigy.com/forum. We have an online guitar community, and we'll be happy to help you with any questions regarding guitar or lessons. And also feel free to check out our Facebook page, YouTube, subscribe to our channel, tell your friends and family about us, and make sure that you always enjoy playing guitar, because playing guitar is really awesome. Bye bye.